Welcome to our second semifinal here at the 2017 CCBA National Baseball Championships. Julian McKenzie here with you. Special guest in the broadcast booth for this semifinal game. He's been working the stadium scoreboard for the majority of this tournament, and when he's not doing that, he's the assistant coach for the local team here, the Fredericton Royals. Mark Sibley is joining myself for the broadcast of the second semifinal taking place between the Dalhousie Tigers and the Carleton Ravens. Oh, nice. You made the jump into the broadcast booth. Welcome, Mark.
Well, it's been overdue, for sure. No, big shoes to fill. Mike and you have, like Augustine and yourself, have done a great job throughout the tournament, and Mike just wanted to take a game off just before the big final. So we got a good game right here. We got two quality teams. Carleton has had a fantastic tournament. Dal's had its ups and downs, but hey, they're both here right now in the semis, and should be a good one.
Carleton will be the home team. They'll pitch first. They'll send out Derek Harkin, the right-hander for the Ravens. Bit of a fiery guy, 3-4 record during the regular season. He's pitched 43 in the third innings, but he has an ERA from the regular season under 1 of 0.97. This is a guy who's able to throw some heat, and he may pose some problems for the Dal Tigers.
Well, yeah, usually at this point, you're not saving anybody. This is you got to win this one to get to the big dance, and clearly this guy is certainly going to be one of their top guys, if not their top guy, to be throwing this game.
I have to say, Dalhousie's had quite the trek to get here. They were one of the 4 teams that had to go through a tiebreaker to get to the semis, and they got to this game in dramatic fashion, winning the game with a walk-off broken bat single last night against the host team, the UNB Cougars. And here they are in the second semifinal against Carleton. Alex Fulton taking to the plate. He'll bat leadoff for the Tigers. He fouls the first pitch, and away we go. 0-1 count for Derek Harkin.
He's up there hacking straight back. That means he's pretty handy to that first pitch.
The 0-1 from Harkin. A low one, ball 1. 1-1 count. The winner of this game will meet the McGill Redmen in the final later this evening. The Redmen winning handily over Acadia by a score of 13-2 in the 1 versus 4 semifinal. These two teams seeded 2 and 3. Another foul pitch. Another foul hit, I should say, off the bat of Alex Fulton. Batting leadoff. Playing in the 6th spot for the Dal Tigers at shortstop.
Yeah, he's 2 for 14 with a couple runs scored. He's been a real solid leadoff guy for these guys throughout the tournament. As I say that, he strikes out.
Strikeout from Derek Harkin. Had Fulton looking. That was a nasty pitch, Sibs.
It was. Harkin seems to be. He threw four fastballs in that at bat, and then broke one off to get him looking. So he kind of set him up on that away, and then dropped that curveball in.
Lee Casera. Last pitched in the Dalhousie Concordia game yesterday, and he returns to the center field spot, and he bats second in the order. Takes a pitch from Derek Harkin.
Lee Casera's had a nice tournament. He's hit a home run, scored 3 runs.
Casera gets a piece of that one, and it'll be a fly ball. It looked as if it was going to land in foul territory, but before it could even do that, Carleton gets the out. 2 away here in the top of the first.
That was a nice play by Manny Restrepo, who's been a really he's their infield captain, and he's a great defensive shortstop for the viewers at home to keep an eye out at him for the rest of the game.
Graydon Gardner swings at the first pitch he sees. It'll drop for a single.
That's actually when you're facing a guy like Harkin in a big game like that, sometimes you want to get at it early and not get behind. And sometimes the best pitch you're going to see in an AB could be the first one, because it's usually pitchers like to get ahead with a fastball, and And that's what Gardner did right there. He just took the fastball he liked and drove it into right field.
Brandon McKay up at bat for the Tigers with a man on at first, 2 outs here in the top of the first. Harkin the pitch. McKay gets a piece of it. It rebounds off the mesh just behind home plate. It almost looked like it hit the pole that holds it up into place. As we've mentioned repeatedly throughout our broadcast, that from our vantage point up in the booth behind home plate, there is a giant black pole in our view. Unfortunately for the viewers at home, they don't have to go through that. Carleton makes the play at second, and that's going to do it for the top half of the first. The Ravens, on defense, they don't allow any runs, and they'll go to the bottom half of the first, tied at 0-0. Back at it for the bottom half of the first inning, the Dalhousie Tigers and the Carleton Ravens playing in the second semifinal game. The winner of this game will play against the McGill-Redmond in the final later this evening. Manny Restrepo batting leadoff for the Ravens. He'll take on James Cunningham, who makes his 3rd appearance at this tournament. Got the loss against Acadia earlier in the week. And he'll look to get a victory for the Tigers and send them into the final.
Restrepo leading off. He's had a great tournament, 4 for 10 with 4 runs scored, stolen base. He's really impressed me throughout his defense and his approach at the plate. He's your typical leadoff type hitter.
Takes the 0-1 strike from Cunningham.
Yeah, he's going to see a lot of pitches, and he's going to work Cunningham. Try and get it walking. Try to get on it any way that he can.
The 1-1. Looked like he was going to make a check swing on there. Goes low, ball 2. Restrepo ended the regular season with the team's best batting average. Is also the leader in stolen bases. He can certainly fly along the base path. As he hits this next one foul, 2-2.
Yeah, he can fly, and he runs the bases really well too. Some leadoff, well, not generally your leadoff guy, but some guys are real quick. They just don't run the bases right. Manny Restrepo has a lot of smarts out there in the pass.
A little high up, full count for Cunningham as he continues to pitch to Restrepo at this at-bat.
Restrepo's really done his job. He's seen 5 pitches, and that's what he wants to work this guy. This is Cunningham's 3rd appearance of the tournament, so they're going to want him to throw a lot of pitches.
And he takes ball 4, Manny Restrepo, a leadoff walk.
Now batting for the Ravens.
And here comes Mike Heffer. He's hit a home run in this tournament.
Heffer is another guy. I mean, this Carleton lineup is pretty solid, 1 through 9. This Heffer has had a great tournament, 3 for 10, a home run, 4 RBIs. So, and played great at third base as well.
They have hitters in their lineup. They entered the tournament with the second best offense among all 6 tournament teams.
Yeah, they've had a great weekend for sure, and they've. I would say themselves, Carleton and McGill have kind of separated themselves from the rest of the group, and throughout the weekend, and they've put on a bit of an offensive show, that's for sure.
2 games for the Ravens where they've had 10 runs. Another high pitch from Cunningham. The first game of their tournament, they blasted the Acadia Axemen 10-1, and then the Friday night thriller that was against the UNB Cougars, an 11-10 loss.
Yeah, that was probably one of the best games of the tournament. We kind of talked about it before the game that we thought that Carleton really probably wasn't ready to go in that game, and maybe got surprised by the host team. UNB was a very scrappy team, and they got the win that night, but nonetheless, Carleton's here right now and has a chance to move on to the finals.
Back-to-back walks thrown by James Cunningham. And here comes Ryan Burnside, one of the bigger hitters on this team. He's been used as a pitcher, but he's shown his effectiveness as a home run hitter. He hit one right off the scoreboard earlier in this tournament.
Yeah, he's had a couple home runs, and he swings the bat extremely well. You can tell his approach. What he is trying to do is elevate the baseball with his approach and hit it as far as he can.
Certainly, definitely. I mean, he's taken some shots for a ride during the regular season, during the Northern Conference playoffs as well. He's stroked the bat, and especially here at this tournament.
Yeah, he's got a really good approach. You can tell he's a high-level hitter for sure.
The 1-0 to Burnside. He swings and he misses.
Heads-up play there by the Ravens.
Just get some bases.
They caught Dalhousie sleeping there. I think we talked before the game, Julian, about the body language of both teams. Carleton is ready to play today. They're here they've got a goal in mind, and they want to be the team playing McGill at 6 o'clock.
Restrepo thought about stealing home. He ran off the base, and maybe that was to just kind of give a jump to the Dalhousie defense as another ball is thrown to Burnside.
Well, he's making Cunningham work, and Restrepo's trying to get into his head a little bit. Third base for sure.
Inside, ball 3. Make an excellent point about the body language. We did see it before the game. The Carleton players all running around the bases, and they're all together, while Dalhousie a little bit more laid back. They had their couple, little pitch and catch amongst teammates, but definitely not as together as the Ravens are. They have that one goal in mind, and for yet another instance, Ryan Burnside walked. That's 3 straight walks for James Cunningham. No outs in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, and the Carleton came into with a game plan for sure. They know this is the Cunningham's 3rd appearance of the tournament, and they want to get into the bullpen for sure. And I think they feel if they can get to Dow's bullpen, they're going to have a good chance of winning this ball game, because their pitching depth, just because they've used a lot of guys, just maybe isn't there right now. You can tell that Cunningham is tired. Just he's up in the zone, and that's a sign of a guy that's laboring. These guys are student athletes. They don't have the chance to put maybe as much as they want, and this is a guy's 3rd appearance of the tournament. He's just gotten it out there. He's representing his school and trying his hardest.
2 balls for James Cunningham. He's walked the first 3 batters he's seen in Manny Restrepo, Mike Heffer, and Ryan Burnside, who are all still on base. And Colby Lyle, who's pitched in this tournament, he had the 11 strikeouts in the Tigers' debut at this year's tournament. He's going to take a moment to speak with his pitcher, Cunningham.
Yeah, I coached Colby. He's a native of Oromocto, which is just down the road, and has played in our system since he was in midget, and got the chance to coach him, known him quite a while. And Colby, he's a student of the game. He was probably he saw something in his delivery, and he was just helping him out.
Burnside gets the hit into right field. A run scores. Carleton looks like they can get a second one. There's not going to be a play at the plate. That ball caroms off the foul line fence. Play at the plate now. They get the out there, but the Ravens get the first 2 runs of the game.
Yeah, a nice base knock by Ty Burnside, who the other Burnside brother that, he's had himself a nice tournament here with a home run. And that's a big clutch hit to get it going. 2 runs on the board. Colby Lyle made a nice play off the 3-foot fence there took the hop off it and made a nice throw to get that runner at the plate to save a run, to keep it 2-0.
Still no outs. Man at second. Ty Burnside, the brother of Ryan, up at the dish. Takes a strike from Cunningham.
Oh, there you go right there. That's why Augie's the best. That was, Spencer Shelton that got the base knock there. I was ahead of myself there a little bit. I'm learning. Those are big shoes to fill.
Oh, no, it's a very big jump to go from the job you were doing up to working in the broadcast booth now, and the throw to first in time to get out Ty Burnside. And now here comes Spencer Shelton down in the order.
Again, Ethan Diamandis.
Ethan Diamandis was the one who got the hit, which cashed in the 2 runs. And now Spencer Shelton takes his place in the batter's box after the out from Ty Burnside. Ty's brother Ryan still at third. He makes his way to, looks as if he was going to try to make his way to home. Not Ryan, see, I'm not immune from these mistakes as well. Diamandis is at third. Spencer Shelton takes strike one. The 0-1. Little outside. Ball one. 1-1 is the count. 2-0 is the score. The Ravens have put up the first runs of this afternoon ball game.
That was some nice patience from Shelton. That was a really nice outside pitch. Tough to lay off that one, and he did.
Swing and a miss, strike two. Waiting the 1-2 pitch from James Cunningham. The pitch. Gets a piece of it, but knocks it foul. A third run at third base. The only base runner on right now. That's Spencer Shelton. Takes the 1-2 pitch. Check swing. Ball two.
Shelton had a rarity in this tournament that we don't see very often in Royals Field just because of the size. He got a triple. I've seen a couple in this tournament as well, and it's not the norm.
The 2-2. Fly ball, but that'll land foul. It was quite the triple when he hit it a couple nights ago. Shelton, he's come on in a few instances for Carleton and has flashed the bat. 2 for 5 at this tournament.
Yeah, and played a fairly solid third base at times.
Gets a piece of this one. This is going towards right field, but it's caught in the mitt of Brandon McKay, and that's going to do it for the first inning. The Carleton Ravens score the first 2 runs of this first inning. We'll be right back after this.
For the Tigers in the top
to the second inning we go.
First
The
baseman,
Carleton
number
Ravens have a
17,
2-0 lead on the Dalhousie Tigers in the second semifinal. The winner of this game will play McGill in the CCBA National Championship final later this evening. Julian McKenzie, Mark Sibley here with you. Derek Harkin returning to the mound for the Ravens. An easy out for Carleton as Jeff Longifeed pretty much hitting the first pitch he saw there. It goes right into the mitt of Ty Burnside playing at first base.
That is about the perfect start that the Carleton Ravens want to that inning. They just scored 2 runs. These are very important for momentum. Dal wants to get something going to show they're in this ball game. Carleton wants a big shutdown inning from Derek Harkin. Get back in and get on the sticks.
Derek Harkin throwing a ball to Colby Lyle, who I think at this point I don't think anyone's throwing more strikeouts than him in a game. He had the 11 in the debut. He allowed the 6 runs against UNB, a 9-6 victory for Dalhousie. But he had a pretty good performance in his first game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, I'm a little partial. Colby is a player on the team that I coach in the summer, and he's a great kid. I love him to death, and he had some success here against UNB. He knew Lowe's hitters well, and it sure showed.
No success there as Carleton's able to get the out at first. Great play by the third baseman.
Now batting for the Tigers, second baseman
Mike
number
Heffer.
22, Cam McPherson.
Heffer's continuing his strong play in the field for sure.
Cam McPherson stepping up to the plate for Dalhousie. He's had a bit of a rough time at the plate despite the 6 for 14 mark. He hits this one into center. This one's going off to the wall. It drops just before the wall. And McPherson's going to take second base.
It's always the way. You talk about a guy struggles and he rips one off the wall.
It's happened more than once in this tournament.
Now batting for the Tigers, DH.
He took a pitch that he could handle, ripped it off the wall, put a good swing on it, that's for sure.
Cam McPherson has had at least 2 games where he's been struck out more than once, and then he has the double to start off his day. Brendan Boyle up next for the Dalhousie Tigers with a man on at second.
Boyle's looking for his first hit of the tournament.
The first pitch he sees from Derek Harkin is a strike. Awaiting the 0-1 from Derek Harkin. He looks back towards second. He'll make the pitch. Low in the dirt, Ethan Diamandis gets to his feet. Was thinking about throwing it to second, but perhaps if he had corralled the ball in time, there could have been a play at second.
It's pretty important for the Dal hitters to make Harkin throw some pitches, make him work, stretch him out.
Swing and a miss, strike two.
Work the counts the other way. The free swinging approach has allowed Harkin to get ahead in a lot of counts, and he's deciding what pitch is going to be thrown, not the hitter. So,
awaiting the 1-2. Strike three, Derek Harkin gets a strikeout, and that's going to do it for the top half of the inning. You see action in the bottom half of the second. The Ravens are up 2-0 on the Dalhousie Tigers in this semifinal game. Julian McKenzie, Mark Sibley here with you. Winner of this game will meet McGill in the championship final later this evening. McGill winning handily over the Acadia Axemen 13-2.
Yes, they did, and they looked impressive doing it. I know that you traveled with the team and worked with the team and had a chance to see them up, but they are the class of this tournament for sure. Very, very impressive. Impressed with their leadoff hitter, Sasha Lagarde. I know he played some professional baseball. Just a tremendous approach. You know, they've got a tough lineup. They're going to be tough on whoever they play in that final. That's for sure. They'd be going into that the favorites.
1-2 pitch from Cunningham, and the McGill Redmen will play the winner of this game. The Ravens, they already have 2 runs up on Dalhousie. Both these teams at different points in different points in this tournament have flashed their bats and have showed off their offensive prowess. This ball hit into left field. Gonna bounce just by the wall. And John Kalivas will take second base. A double for the Ravens.
Now batting for the Ravens, second baseman number 4.
Like we
Graham
said,
O'Donnell.
Carleton came into this game ready to go. Kalivas rips a double into the corner. I mean, that's a great start, leadoff double. I would be surprised the way they've swung the bats. If he sacrifices them over, he's probably, they want to unleash the hounds here. They want a big inning.
Second baseman Graham O'Donnell at the plate. Swings at the first pitch he sees, but he hits it back above his head and foul.
They're putting some really good swings on Cunningham's fastball. He's not really fooling them very much. Credit to him, he's coming right after them, but they're putting some nice swings.
The 0-1. Pop fly, still in play. Dalhousie will look to make a play of it. They do. It's a catch from Jeff Longafee. It'll be an out. Here comes Joel Zoda, playing out in left field today.
Number 22, Joel Zoda.
Zoda 1 for 4 in this tournament.
I believe his first game was yesterday in the tournament.
Manny Restrepo on deck for the Ravens. 1 out, men at second. Still 2-0 for Carleton. High pitch from Cunningham.
Zoda's going to want to, again, a successful AB for him is going to be making Cunningham throw 4 or 5 pitches. And he's kind of done his job. I think, obviously, he wants to cash this run, but he also wants Cunningham to throw some pitches. Number 9 hitter. Cunningham on the number 9 hitter, he's going to want to go right at him and fill the zone up and throw strikes and get his team back in there and hitting.
Cunningham with the 1-0. A little outside the strike zone corner. It'll be a 2-0 count to Zota.
Cunningham's laboring. He's gotten it out. There's no question. His third appearance. You know, they had to play the crossover, so they've had to use a lot of pitching to get here. And
the 2-0 low.
You got to give him credit. He may not have his best stuff right now, but he's battling against a really tough lineup.
Cunningham making his third appearance at this tournament. Came on in relief, and he's already started a game. Dalhousie putting the ball in his hand to get them to the final game, and he throws another strike. 2-2 count.
Well, before the tournament, when we had our talks with when I had a talk with the coaches from the UMB, Cunningham was a name that was mentioned as a guy Dal had that they were going to rely on, and they have done that. So
the 2-2 hit foul as Joel Zota managed to get a piece of it on his check swing.
Zota fought that off. That was a pretty good pitch, low and outside.
Awaiting the 2-2 from Cunningham. Kalivas at second for Carleton. 1 out in the bottom of the second. That ball hit into the infield. Lyle throws it to first. In time. 2 outs. Manny Restrepo will get his second at-bat of the afternoon. The shortstop for the Carleton Ravens.
Restrepo's impressed me. Again, I spoke about it the last time he was up. He is a leadoff hitter. I would say if you looked up leadoff hitter in the dictionary, his pitcher could pop up. He's going to make Cunningham throw a lot of pitches in this AB. And when he gets on base, he's going to turn a walk or a single into a double most of the time. And that's what you want.
Swings and misses at the first pitch.
And as I say that, he swings and misses at the first pitch.
That's going to happen a lot, man. You're going to go through instances, like even in the last game with McGill and Acadia, I was saying how Chris Evans hadn't allowed a run in a relief appearance. Jake Guggenheimer hits a 2-run shot off of him. So that's going to happen a lot. Manny Restrepo, alongside Ryan Burnside, they've done some work for a baseball camp out in Ottawa, working with the South Ottawa Blues.
And I believe they're watching the game right now.
So shout out to the members of the South Ottawa Blues team who are watching our broadcast. Thank you very much for tuning into our coverage of this year's National Championships. We really appreciate it. Restrepo gets a hold of this one. It's going to be foul, though. Stops just short of the wall. Restrepo, I'm sure he would have loved to have had a home run here. That ball was carrying left, just stopped short of the wall, but more importantly, landing in foul territory.
Restrepo, 2 strikes. He's still going to be selective. I think he's a good 2-strike hitter. He's probably going to shorten up here. He might try and go the other way with something in the outside corner, but he's still going to be selective and still going to try and work his way on.
1-2 count, 2 outs. John Kalivas at second. Manny Restrepo takes another long shot. This one goes to the outfield. At the warning track, it's dropped in the outfield, and John Kalivas will score. Lee Casera thought he was under it, couldn't get it, drops it, and Restrepo will go to second base.
And Restrepo just showed his South Ottawa Blues team that when you hit a ball in the air with 2 out, you hustle. You see so many guys today throw their bat, bang their head, jog along. Nothing's for sure in this game. Put the ball in play, anything can happen. If Restrepo hustled, he's standing on second base, and he's got himself, he doesn't have himself an RBI because that was an error, but he drove an important run in, make this game 3-0, and now he's in scoring position because he showed a little bit of hustle.
Restrepo teaching the kids how many kilometers away from home as the Ravens have a 3-0 lead, and Mike Heffer is at the dish. High up pitch from James Cunningham. Ball 1.
Cunningham has he's tired. He has to get the ball down though. He's up in the zone, he's getting behind, and he's letting these Carleton hitters dictate the pitch.
Throws a strike to Heffer. 1-1 count.
He's leaving him himself in cases where he's got to throw a fastball, and you really don't want to do that against a potent lineup like Carleton.
Restrepo at second. Tries to make a play at third. Dalhousie gets him. He tried to steal third base. Not in time. Dalhousie escapes the inning, but they're down 3-0 against Carleton. We'll go to the top of the third in just a moment. Phil Kolanowski will lead off for the Dalhousie Tigers in the top of the third inning. We'll also see Alex Fulton and Lee Casera right after him. My name is Julian McKenzie alongside Mark Sibley. Thank you so much for tuning into our coverage of this year's CCBA National Baseball Championships here on Bell TV 1. Derek Harkin still pitching for the Carleton Ravens in this inning. He's been doing fine so far.
Harkin spent 2 years at Canton State in New York, D3 school, and he's from the Ottawa area and transferred back, and now is concentrating on his studies and throwing for the Carleton Ravens.
The 1-1. Chopper just above the mound. Graham O'Donnell can't hold on to it. Makes the throw to first, but not in time, and Kolanowski will take first base.
That's the second break that Dal's got. The earlier break was Restrepo being thrown out of third base. Third out at third is a no-no in this game. Now we just got an error there, so hey, it's not over till it's over, that's for sure. And Dal, lead-off error, they usually come back to haunt you, but we'll see.
That ball hit into center. It'll drop. And everyone will advance a base. An errant throw. Dal's runners will stay at first and second respectively. But hey, as you mentioned just now, who knows? That leadoff error could come back to haunt them. No outs. Lee Casera up at the dish. 2 men on. The tying run at the home plate.
We could see a sacrifice right here, or we could see, just because they're down three runs, they possibly are going to try for a big inning. Outs are valuable, but we could see a sacrifice here with their big 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up.
Kolanowski at second, Alex Fulton at first. Lee Casera showed bunt there. Ball 1.
Carleton's executing the wheel play. They're gonna try with that play to get that runner at third base, which is a little. I would just be playing for an out here. They've got a 3-run lead. The worst thing that can happen is both those guys score. They're still winning 3-2.
Bunt laid down by Casera. Harkin grounds it. Makes the play at first. But Fulton and Kolanowski advance a base. There's now runners at second and third for the Tigers. And here comes Graydon Gardner, the catcher.
Gardner's had a whale of a tournament. 6 for 13. The run scored. He's had some big hits. He had a couple big hits against UMB. He had a few big hits yesterday, too. He's the straw that stirs the drink with the Tigers offense.
Just take strike 1.
Where do you think he got
Derek
it?
Harkin. Yeah, where do you think he got that saying from? The 0-1. Strike 2 thrown on Gardner. Derek Harkin. Harkin's the 0-2 count.
Harkin's doing what he should do. Filling the zone up.
Low in the ground, 1-2. Kolanowski at third. Thought about trying to make a dart at home, and you remain at third. Alex Fulton still at second. The 1-2 from Harkin. Hit foul. Gardner got a piece of it. count remains at 1-2.
That was a tough pitch. It looked like a cut fastball that...
The 1-2. It looks like that just went off of Gardner. You can hear the smack.
got him in the hand.
You go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry about that, Julian. They were
They
were clearly working him in, Anderson. They didn't want to let him get his arms extended to drive something. Pitched in, and sometimes that's what happens when you pitch in. You're going to run something in, and it's going to click off. It's the danger, but I like Harkin's approach here. He's working quick. He's filling the zone up, but he's in a little bit of trouble here.
Bases are loaded for Harkin after he beamed the straw that stirs the Dalhousie Tigers drink in Graydon Gardner, and Brandon McKay, the right fielder, steps up to the plate.
McKay, 5 for 14 with a home run and 3 ribs, hitting in their 4 spot. He is in their RBI spot, so they need a big hit from him. They need something. This is their chance to get back in this ball game.
1 out. The pitch from Harkin. Up the middle. He couldn't get a handle on it. Throw to second. They get the tag there. That might be the only tag they get. They try to make a play at third. The Carleton Ravens get their first run of the afternoon. Phil Kolonowski is home safe.
3-1 off a little nubber. Put it in play, see what happens.
First baseman number 17, Jeff Longafee.
The Dal Tigers are scratching their way back into this ball game.
Runners on the corners for Jeff Longafee, who's hit a home run in this tournament. Gets a smack to this one. It'll be a fly ball in the infield.
Harkin may have broke his bat there. Oh, he did.
He actually did there, and we'll toss that piece of lumber aside. The Tigers score a run, but they're still down 3. Still up 3-1 on the Dalhousie Tigers for a chance to play in the 2017 CCBA National Baseball Championships. Julian McKenzie, Mark Sibley here with you on a gorgeous day here in the community of Marysville, New Brunswick,
where the sun always shines.
Write that tag down, man. Come on, put that on a sign somewhere in Marysville.
We've been saying it for years. It never rains at Royals Field.
Once upon a time, this glorious land was a cow pasture, and it's seen a ton of great moments in New Brunswick baseball history. We have the numbers at the far wall. 3 players retired, including Scott Harvey, who pitched a gem of a game for the Fredericton All-Stars years ago in the 70s against the Cuban national baseball team.
It's funny about that game. As the years have gone by, the crowd has gotten to about 70,000 people were here. And everybody was throwing 95 miles an hour, but it was quite a game. I was not here. I was actually across the river. I was about 4 years old at the time. Apparently I didn't want to come, but my father was here, so it's still talked about with a lot of people around these parts.
Ball hit foul by Mike Heffer, who's at a 2-2 count with James Cunningham. Baseball Hill, that's where the Royals field is at. It means a lot to a great deal of people here in this community.
Well, you're talking to one of them for sure. It's the center of my summer from May to, today, I guess.
As James Cunningham throws a strikeout on Heffer, and here comes Ryan Burnside for his second at-bat.
Burnside again, dangerous hitter. 3 for 7, 2 home runs in the tournament. And a towering home run off the scoreboard in right center field.
Might be one of the more talked about home runs we've seen all week.
You can tell Burnside has a lot of confidence, and in talking to George, beside us has been letting us know that he's actually one of their top pitchers as well. And if they get to the gold medal game, we might see him on the mound.
Another ball hit foul by Ryan Burnside. League President George Regakis, also a member of the teaching faculty at Carleton University. Carleton also known for their journalism program as well.
I'm going to give George a lot of credit here. George has been, he's got a real passion for this, for the CCBA. You can tell when you talk to him. And he's doing a heck of a job as the president. Since he's been here, it's been great to get to know him, but he's having a hard time being biased in this game, and we've told George, don't worry about it. We know you're at Carleton. We know that's your team. No one's going to be upset for you cheering, but he takes this so serious. He does not want the Dal Tigers to think that he wouldn't be happy for them when he works, so, when they win. But he's got a great ball club here. Burnside draws a walk.
Ethan Diamandis in the batter's box, taking the pitch from James Cunningham. Check swing, strike one. And George, your invoice will come in the mail.
You mean my? He's going to pay me. He just slipped me 50 for saying that. So, thanks, George. It wasn't that hard. I remembered most of it.
Play to second. Can they complete the double play? Looks like they do. Just like that, the Dal Tigers make a nifty play in the infield, and that's going to do it for the inning. 3-1 is the score. The Ravens still lead, but the Dal Tigers still in it after that gem of a defensive play.
Nobody left. 3 complete, ladies and gentlemen. Carleton Ravens 3, Dal Tigers 1.
Welcome back to Royals Field here in the community of Marysfield in Fredericton, New Brunswick. This week has been great for the 2017 CCBA National Baseball Championships. The second semifinal taking place, the Carleton Ravens taking on the Dalhousie Tigers. Carleton up 3-1 as we enter the top of the 4th inning. Colby Lyle up at the dish for the Tigers. Derek Harkin sends a pitch. Ball will land foul.
Colby likes the ball away. He's going to look for a pitch out over the plate, and he's going to try and drive it into left. Most of his base hits come to left center. He keeps his hands close to his body, and he kind of comes through the zone, drags that bat, and tries to put it into left center.
The 0-1, a bunt laid down by Lyle. Stays fair for now, but it goes foul. Good job by the infield to see how that ball was rolling down the third base line.
Yeah, there's a crown on the field on both sides. Bunts are very, very difficult, although we did see one earlier this week.
Yes, we did.
Very difficult to stay fair here at Royals Field. Colby should know that.
He should. Played on this field quite a few times.
I think he's kind of smirking. He's probably thinking, yeah, I knew that. But, hey, good idea for Colby. You know, he's doing his job. He's just trying to get on.
He's now facing the 0-2 pitch from Derek Harkin.
Colby's going to try and work his way on, and they're just looking for base runners. They're looking to get back. They're in the game. They want to even it up.
The 0-2 from Harkin. Low in the dirt, ball 1. So we've seen bunt attempts in this tournament. One other thing that's made itself known is the infield and how tricky it's been for some players is this ball takes a bounce. Restrepo, throw to first. Get the out at first. But we've seen quite a few times a routine play like that will sometimes take a Christmas hop or a duck snort hop, or as a Mike Augustine, our esteemed broadcast colleague, has said, an Augie hop. We've seen a bunch of these different hops in the infield.
I have been around baseball my entire life. I've never heard of what'd you say, a duck stream hop?
A duck snort hop.
I would say your last color guy made that up.
See, I said this has to be something that's made up because I've never heard of that.
I've heard of a Christmas hop, not a duck snort one.
A 1-0 pitch from Derek Harkin.
It's definitely an Augieism.
As we've already coined in the broadcast booth, any type of Augieism is when you find yourself in more in the case of Michael Augustine, if he finds himself in a situation where he's not sure about what it may be, it is immediately an Augieism.
He loves to deflect.
2-1 count from Harkin. As Cam McPherson's at bat.
He's a very good friend of mine. He loves to deflect.
You guys have a podcast together, right?
We do, yes. We have 14 listeners. We're looking to get 15, Julian. We're thinking you could be it.
Cam McPherson, I don't know if you want him on your podcast. He gets a single.
Cam swung the bat nice today. I believe Cam also drove in the winning walk-off run last night against UMB. Yeah, broken bat single, just confirmed. So he's having himself a day.
He's having himself quite a last few 24 hours coming into his first few games. He had multiple games where he had incurred multiple strikeouts. So for him to have the big walk-off game he had and now to be pretty much perfect today, it's been quite a turn of events for him. An inside pitch to Brendan Boyle, called ball 1.
Boyle's looking for his first hit, and he's in the designated hitter spot, so this must be a bit of an anomaly. It's a small sample size, so surely he's the designated hitter. He can put the ball in play like he just did.
And just like that, the Carleton Ravens pull a double play of their own. Graham O'Donnell makes the grab at second, throws it to Restrepo, goes to first, and that's going to do it for this top part of the inning. We'll be right back after this.
No Ravens errors, nobody left. 4.5 complete. Carleton Ravens 3. Ravens in the bottom of the 4th inning. First baseman number 24, Ty Burnside.
Bottom of the 4th we go. The Carleton Ravens up 3-1 on Dalhousie, and a number of changes have been made by this Dal team.
Yeah, we've got Alex Fulton now catching. We've got Colby Lyle moved to short. And we've got Jeff Longavy over at third base. And who do we have at first here, Julian?
I think Graydon Gardner, the catcher, is going out at first.
That tells me that Graydon, he's got a tweak of some kind that they need his bat in the lineup today. You got all winter to rest, but he's definitely hurt something, and you can see he's kind of showing Mr. Hope, our crew chief, some sort of an injury. So they clearly made that move. They probably didn't want to, but hey, they need his bat in the lineup as well. Got all winter to heal. It's win or go home, so they're doing whatever they can to scratch this through.
1-2 count from James Cunningham on Sunday Funday as a break in the action as Ty Burnside at bat for Carleton.
Ty Burnside 3 for 8 with a home run and 2 RBIs.
The 1-2, low in the dirt, 2-2 count. So you have a guy like Gardner who was catching for most of the game, and now he makes his way to first base. But why still make the changes with Colby and Jeff Longafield? That's what a lot of changes. It seems like it's a lot of changes to accommodate just one guy.
Well, Colby has, I think the key to it is probably Gardner is injured. They have to move him to probably first base. Not that it's an easier spot, but a little less taxing on your arm. Colby has played short in the past. Longafield probably can't. Shorts are very important, so they just had to make those moves to put everybody into probably their second best spot. And it's clearly because Gardner has some type of a tweak. He can still swing the bat, but it's something that's been bothering him behind the plate. And that catcher position is very, very important. So,
well, whatever signals he was able to give to Cunningham, they get a strikeout out of it as James Cunningham sits down Ty Burnside. And here comes Spencer Shelton. Shows bunt, doesn't get it. Strike one.
Fulton looks like a really good receiver back there. It's not uncommon that your shortstop's usually the best athlete on the team, and he can usually sometimes he's the best player at every position on the team. He looks like a really good receiver, but he's probably so valuable at shortstop that that's his position with this club, and it's good that he's so versatile and he can step in. He looks like a really good catcher.
The 0-2, high up in the air, ball 1.
Whatever he's done, he's settled James Cunningham down a little bit as well, getting a strikeout and up 1-2 on the hitter, Shelton.
2-2 count. As Fulton does his job to block the ball from leaving his grasp. No men on. Spencer Shelton facing a 2-2 count. Cunningham with the pitch. Swings and misses. That's back-to-back strikeouts for James Cunningham.
Yeah, he seemed to have settled in. He's probably on adrenaline and he's getting a bit of a kick. His arm is likely throbbing. It's been many years since if I've ever been in a situation like this, but multiple appearances on a weekend, the arm's really numb right now. So
John Kalivas on the home plate right now for Carleton. Last time he was up at bat, he hit that blooper in his center which was dropped by Lee Casera. He ended up going to second. Low in the dirt, out of the reach of Fulton. 2-0 count.
Kalivas he's shown his patience in this tournament. Worked 3 walks, and he's 1 for 2. So actually, he's 2 for 3 now with the single in his first at bat.
The 2-0 swings and misses. Strike 1.
They call this the second win that Cunningham has right now. He has settled in.
The 2-1, a little outside. Tried to paint the corner. Ends up getting ball 3. The 3-1. John Kalivas will take first base off the walk.
That was a tough pitch to lay off of right there. Showed his patience. Works another walk, his 4th of the tournament.
Graham O'Donnell, the second baseman. Up at bat, 2 outs, 1 on. Carleton up 3-1 in the bottom of the 4th. James Cunningham. That ball hit into center, pop fly, and it's caught in the outfield. 2 strikeouts in the inning for James Cunningham. He's starting to settle in, but the Tigers still are playing from behind, down 3-1 as we enter the top of the 5th inning.
No Tigers errors, 1 man. Leading off for the Tigers in the top of the 5th inning, left fielder number 6, Phil Kolanowski.
Phil Kolanowski leading off for the Dow Tigers. Welcome to the top of the 5th inning here. Carleton still up 3-1 in this semifinal game against the Tigers. Julian McKenzie, Mark Sibley here with you. We're 2 innings away from figuring out who the winner will be, and we'll be taking on the McGill Redmen in the final of this championship.
Well, Derek Harkins has given the Carleton Ravens what they needed. Just a great start for him. He is, he's all around the strike zone, and he's working quick. He's keeping his defense in the game. It's just been a great pitching performance from him.
And look at that, a strikeout from Derek Harkin. He sits down Kolanowski.
Now batting for the Tigers,
Alex Fulton, who started off the game at shortstop and has since been moved to catcher. He will take his spot in the batter's box.
Yeah, Fulton 3 for 14 so far in the tournament with a couple runs scored. He probably would want a little bit more, but he's played some great defensive short, and now he's shown he's a pretty darn good receiver behind the plate.
Low in the dirt, ball 1. Derek Harkin It was a perfect strike.
Just a beautiful fastball right over the outside corner. Cut back a little bit. He's throwing a lot of two-seamers with a little bit of movement and a really live, nice fastball.
The 1-1. Back-to-back strikes from Harkin.
Good things are going to happen for Harkin if he keeps throwing that pitch in that spot. It's very, very hard to hit. He's coming back and catching the outside corner of the plate.
The 1-2 from Harkin. Caught a piece of it. Throw to first in time. They get the tag. 2 outs. Lee Casera stepping up to the plate for Dow.
I'm going to give a lot of credit to Ethan Diamandis. There was a pitching performance by Lajeunesse from Carleton. The guy, he's on page. He's on the same page with these pitchers. That was a perfect pitch selection for that little curveball he dropped in with the slow roller.
Lee Casera swings and misses, and Derek Harkin putting together a decent performance for the Ravens. It's doing just enough to maintain the 3-1 lead they have here in the 5th.
Well, Harkins has got command of all of his pitches, and he's throwing everything for a strike. And when you can do that, you are dictating what's coming. And he is very tough right now.
2 strikes. Lee Casera swung at something and got absolutely nothing. 0-2 count. Gets a piece of it, goes foul. Derek Harkin.
He's worked mostly a two-seamer, and this at bat against Casera, who's swings the bat fairly well. Been nothing but cutters and sliders and curveballs.
Ball stays fair. The throw to first. Carleton retiring the side. And just like that, they head into the bottom of the 5th. Still with their 3-1 lead.
Left fielder number 22, Joel Zoda.
Joel Zoda leading things off for the Carleton Ravens. They are up 3-1 on the Dalhousie Tigers. Julian McKenzie, Mark Sibley here with you in the broadcast on Bell TV 1. Mark, you're doing an excellent job as color commentator. You sure you haven't done this before?
I have not. This is my first foray into the broadcast business.
A pop fly went all the way to the wall. It's caught. 1 out.
But I appreciate that, because coming from a pro like yourself.
I mean, let's be real here. I mean, I've only really been broadcasting and really been around a baseball team for a month. Obviously, growing up in Montreal and having the Expos and obviously the Blue Jays being on every TV here in Canada, I've watched a decent amount of baseball. But in terms of broadcasting baseball games, this is as far as it's been for me. This is definitely the biggest thing I've done, I think almost in my entire broadcasting career. So it's a foray of first for both of us.
That's right.
Manny Restrepo up at bat for the 3rd time today. James Cunningham. Restrepo gets a hit onto that.
Good swing by Restrepo. Cunningham has really settled in. 0-2 on Restrepo. He's pounding the zone. He was a little up. He's on adrenaline.
Restrepo hits another foul ball. As you mentioned before, Cunningham logged in quite a few appearances and innings in the last few days. That arm of his must be pained. The 0-2. Restrepo hits one to third, but he's thrown out at first.
Yeah.
2 away.
Yeah, talking to Cole Bilal before the game, he told me that, again, these are student athletes. A lot of these teams are club teams. That their depth is not what it could be, and they've had to use everybody. So they're all on fumes, and they have a bit of a game plan in the works, and it's Cunningham's giving them what they asked. He's keeping them in this ball game.
Mike Heffer up at bat. And the home plate umpire going to Craig Hope, who's he's working at the first baseline, and he calls a strike on that pitch to Heffer.
They say 85% of the time you go in a check swing. I know that was a bunt, but veteran umpire Mr. Craig Hope knows the game well, has been around a long time, and you won't find anybody probably better on that field than him today.
We had the pleasure of speaking to him on our broadcast earlier this week as Cunningham's pitch just rebounds off of Alex Fulton and behind home plate. Craig Hope with a bunch of great stories. One of the stories he had didn't mention on our broadcast was how he got the opportunity to work a major league game in Detroit. He happened to be around there when the umpires were on strike. He worked a game. The strike only lasted about a day, but Craig Hope can say that he's worked a major league game.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've known Craig for quite some time. The baseball circle in New Brunswick's pretty small, and we're all good friends and get along. And he's probably one, if not one of the best umpires in New Brunswick right now. He's one of the top two. His comes off feel. He gets along with the players great. He admits his biggest strength is the fact that if he makes a mistake, he'll admit it. Everybody does. He'll admit it. He's not going to give it back to you, but he says, I made a mistake. So when you can do that, you know, he's in the New Brunswick Baseball Hall of Fame already. He's just a legend, and he's the most interesting man in the world, I told him yesterday.
Absolutely.
5 wives, and they all took a picture together.
Oh, my God.
Come on.
I didn't know if I was going to bring that story onto the airwaves.
I did.
Oh, my God.
No, just a great fella. You know, when you go down to Moncton and play their senior team, he's usually there, and he's usually behind the plate, and he's just a great umpire.
2 outs, bottom of the 5th. Heffer walked, and at first, Ryan Burnside, the DH, at the plate.
No place to put him. Cunningham's got to go at him.
The 1-1. Heffer makes the run to second. Will they get the play in time? They get the tag in. The out is made, and the Tigers get out of the inning. Once again, another scoreless inning. It's still 3-1 between Carleton and Dow. We head to the top of the 6th.
No Tigers errors, nobody left. 5.
Graydon Gardner batting leadoff in the top of the 6th inning. The Dow Tigers taking on the Carleton Ravens. 3-1 is the score. The Ravens 6 outs away from a berth in the 2017 National Championship game. Derek Harkin still dealing for the Ravens. Throws one a little inside. Almost nipped Gardner.
I've liked that about Harkin's performance today. He's not afraid to throw in. It's an art in pitching that has been lost. And what he's doing, he's using the full plate because he just threw that 2-seamer that came back over the outside corner of the plate. He just set that strike up with the inside pitch.
That one chopped foul by Gardner.
He's been in and out all in this at bat. He's thrown 2 pitches in, 1 away. I wouldn't be shocked to see his curveball, a slider to the outside, an outside slider right now.
The 1-2.
Slider in. Great play by the shortstop.
Manny Restrepo getting up there, making the grab. 1 away.
Batting for the Tigers, right fielder
Brandon McKay
Brandon
stepping
McKay.
up into the batter's box. Carleton still holding on to their 3-1 lead in this game. 5 outs away from reaching the final against McGill. I know the McGill baseball team anxiously waiting from their hotel to figure out who is going to be their opponent in the championship final. I know they're watching the broadcast, so shout out to them. Now, shout out to everyone who's paid any bit of attention to our broadcast and has tuned in throughout the last few days. We really appreciate the support, and it's come from pretty much all over. We have families watching from the States as well, cheering on their kids here at this tournament.
Well, this is a great level of baseball. These guys are playing because they love the game, not because they have a scholarship or they're trying to go anywhere. These guys are finishing up their education. They love the game, and I'm going to tell you, a lot of them can play the game. There's a lot of good baseball players. The quality and level of play in this tournament is very high.
Dribbler down the third base line. Mike Heffer can't make a play at first. Still one away. And the Dow Tigers have a runner at first.
It was just, again, I've been Harkin, just a great pitch there. Unfortunately, he just didn't get the break. But, I mean, they just cannot, they're not squaring up, as they say in the game. They're not, with his movement, they cannot get a full, they can't get their bat full in the ball. They can't square up. They're having a hard time driving the baseball.
Jeff Longafee, that ball goes off the mound. Restrepo tags second, makes the spin move, gets the out at first. A little bit of fanciness from Manny Restrepo. Makes the play at shortstop, tags the second base, makes a spin move, throw to first.
And Restrepo did it himself that inning. He made a great play on a line drive earlier on in the inning, and then he just turned a double play by himself. I know Mike Augustine was high on Shepard from McGill. I like Restrepo too. He's had a great tournament.
We'll be right back after this. Julian McKenzie, Mark Sibley. I don't know if people call you Marky Mark in the Funky Vibrations, but that's the song that's serenading us into the bottom of the sixth.
DH, number 20, Ryan
Not unless they
Burnside.
want a quick trip to the hospital. No. I'm not a violent person.
That's encouraging. Ryan Burnside. I don't know if he's a violent person either, but if baseballs could talk, they could tell you a different story. This is the same dude who's hit a ball off a scoreboard in this tournament.
Well, he's put a hurting on a couple balls, that's for sure. He's looking to drive something right here.
Grounded to first. Gardner thought he had the ball go behind him. He literally went in a 360 trying to find where the ball was, but that ball was in front of him the entire time. Gotta think that might be an E3 on him.
That's definitely an error, yeah.
Batting for the Ravens, catcher number 19.
You got to stay down on a ball like that. There's really no reason to come up. I mean, if you just drop down and let it hit you, you're going to make the play at first. But these kids are emotional. The game's pretty fast right now. They got to slow it down and make the plays.
That ball hit foul by Ethan Diamandis, who's caught just about every inning for this Carleton Ravens team in this tournament.
He's a great catcher, this kid. He's sitting in the middle of their lineup, throws the ball well to second base, and I've been really impressed with his pitch selections calling the baseball game.
The 0-1. That ball going up the middle. McPherson had a piece of it, but it's going into the outfield. Ryan Burnside sliding into third. That ball going towards the fence. Third base coach telling him to stay. And all the while, Diamandis takes second base. Runners at second and third. No outs.
Burnside he read that the whole way. He just kept running. That was some heads-up baseball right there. Plays like that win ball games. Taking the extra base when you can. Very, very important. Burnside's seems to be their emotional leader, and big play by him and a big spot in the ball game.
Quick meeting of the minds with the catcher Alex Fulton and James Cunningham, as the Carleton Ravens, with nobody out, have men at second and third. And here comes brother Ty Burnside.
They get the infield in here. They can't afford to give any more runs up the way Harkins has been throwing. He's going to be tough to get 2 runs off of, near impossible to get 3.
The 0-1. Ball thrown. 1-1 count. Ty Burnside at the plate. His brother Ryan at third.
There's nobody up in the Dow bullpen. They're going to ride Cunningham out as long as they can.
Swing and a miss. Strike two. As you've mentioned during the broadcast, the pitching depth for Dow not necessarily as strong as maybe some of the other teams here, and Cunningham making his third appearance on the mound in this tournament. The 1-2. Low in the dirt. Doesn't look like they'll call a strike on that one. I thought the swing from Burnside, I'm not sure if they thought it was just a check swing.
No, they called that a foul ball, Julian.
Didn't even realize he had gotten a piece of it.
Yeah, he stayed alive.
Low in the dirt, 2-2 is the count.
Two good pitches there by Cunningham. He's trying to stay away, get Burnside to chase something, and Burnside showing some patience and discipline and taking two balls.
2-2 count. Up the middle, off the glove of Cunningham. A fourth run will come in for Carleton. Off the RBI single from Ty Burnside. Runners at first and third. Still nobody out. Here in the bottom of the sixth, James Cunningham.
That was a great at bat for Ty Burnside. Showed some really good discipline, staying away from those two outside pitches. Made Cunningham throw a fastball in a spot that he could poke it up the middle. Drove in a run, making it a little tougher for Dow to come back in the top of the seventh. I hate to be a negative Nelly for the Dow Tigers, but the way Derek Harkin's been throwing, it's going to be tall order for them to scratch out 3 runs to tie this ball game up. But what's the old saying, Julian? It ain't over till it's over.
It ain't over till it's over. It ain't over till the fat lady sings. You play to win the game. I think you can find a whole book of cliches to describe this instance for Dow. They are not out of the woods yet. That's another one. They're down 4-1 in this contest. In the bottom half of the 6th inning, James Cunningham still out there for the Dow Tigers as the Carleton Ravens look to add to their 4-1 lead.
I don't think he could take the ball from Cunningham. He wants it. He wants to finish this game. He's showing a lot of heart, and he's really giving his team a chance to win.
That ball landing in the area of the Carleton dugout. Alex Fulton chased that ball down. Wasn't close.
Fulton looks good back there. Threw a runner out in the last inning. It's good to have guys that are versatile, and especially important in tournaments like this.
Fulton started the game at shortstop, and then Graydon Gardner, the catcher, was moved to first, and Fulton put behind the plate. 0-1 count. As Bryce McCray is in the game. 0-2 count.
I believe McCray started the tournament. He had a bit of a rough start and was lifted. I think second base, if I don't recall, has been a bit of a, well, I think it's been a tough spot for everybody in the tournament, but these guys have gone through a couple. Nice knock into left.
And a run will score. Bryce McCray with the RBI single. He comes in as a pinch hitter, and Ethan Diamandis comes home. It's now 5-1 Carleton. They are firmly in the driver's seat.
Well, right now, Carleton, they know that Cunningham's tired, and they're just hunting for fastballs right now, and they got a nice hitting ball club.
Pinch running for the Ravens.
And another pinch runner coming in. Looks like Ty Greschuk will come in at first base for Bryce McCray. And John Kalivas looks like he'll be the next one up. And at the look at this, it looks like the Dow Tigers will make the pitching change. And it looks like James Cunningham's day is done. Allowed 5 runs. Gets the handshakes and hugs from his teammates and coaches along the first base line.
Now pitching for the Tigers, number 15, Colby Lyle.
And Colby Lyle, who was at third base, then shortstop. He was the opening tournament day starter for the Dow Tigers, and he will step in what looks like it'll be their final game of this year's tournament. A lot can happen before this game ends, but it's 5-1 for the Ravens, and it doesn't look like they're letting up. Still no outs in the bottom half of the 6th inning.
Well, yeah, Colby's just Colby Lyle has been brought in here to get them through this inning with his with no more damage. You got to give James Cunningham a lot of credit. His 3rd appearance of the tournament. He had a rough start to the game, gave 3 up in the first 2, but then he settled in from the 3rd to this inning, and he gave his chance. He kept his team in the game. 3 runs in Royals Field is not a lot. 4 is not a lot, but when you got a guy like Derek Harkin who's thrown as well as he has with the command of all his pitches, it's going to be tall order. But like you just said, Julian, it's never over till it's over.
Now,
John Kalivas will be the next at-bat for Carleton. It looks as if there may be some more changes coming at the Dow infield.
It's a bit of a curious move to go to Colby right now. If you were going to use him in this inning,
number 6, Phil Kolonowski.
He was prepared to come in. I might have started him in this inning, but you know what? It's easy to make those calls from up here.
Mm-hmm.
I know firsthand it's a lot harder down there. And all the coaches here have done an excellent job with their teams just to get them to this far. But let's see what Colby has and get them in to get the sticks going.
Phil Kolonowski, who started the game in left, has taken the place of Lyle in shortstop. So correct me if I'm wrong here, this is the 3rd different shortstop the Dow Tigers have used in this game, as Colby Lyle has gone from 3rd to short to the mound. 1-0 count as he pitches to Kalivas. Runners at 1st and 2nd for the Ravens.
Colby Lyle's going to work. He works low in the zone. He has a good slider, good curveball. He's not really warmed up yet. He has a hard time throwing. He'll miss low when he's tight, and obviously he's been playing short the whole game and hasn't had a good chance to warm up. But he's a gamer, and he's going to go out and try and get his team back in there. That's for sure.
Colby Lyle, we all know about how well he did in the first game, but since then he's been put in the infield, and yes, he got a little bit of time throughout the tournament as a pitcher, but in this instance now, coming in off of playing at 3rd and at short, not really getting a warm-up. What's the benefit of putting a pitcher like this in this situation after having played in the field?
There's absolutely no benefit to it at all. Ideally, you want to have your guy ready to go. Relievers have to get warmed up just like a starter. It's just like we talked about earlier. Their depth just isn't there. They have to have Colby out in the field. He's one of their top players, and at this level, and maybe like you look at a team like McGill, they don't seem to have to do that. They've got the depth, but Colby had to play defense, and he's just out there. Colby is a great kid. He's a team guy. He'll do whatever's asked of him, and he's not shy to take the ball. He's a bit of a bulldog out there in the mound, and he's doing whatever his team needs from him. He's not at 100% right now, but he's going to do what he can for them.
And Colby Lyle will load the bases with that walk. John Kalivas takes first. Graham O'Donnell, the second baseman, stepping into the game. Bases loaded, no outs here in the bottom of the 6th. The Ravens have already piled in 2 runs. They have a 5-1 lead on the Dow Tigers.
Colby needs a strikeout right here, there's no question. Carleton, right now, they are looking good. 5-1, nobody out, bases loaded.
O'Donnell takes ball 1, that ball going low, almost into the dirt. Fulton looked like he was thinking about throwing a third. 1-0 count. The 1-0. O'Donnell gets a piece of it. It goes foul. The Carleton Ravens dugout, loud and lively, and a couple innings ago, not necessarily wasn't the case. As a couple pitches, a couple scoreless innings, kind of quieted down the atmosphere here. And if you go over to the first base line, you haven't really heard much from the Dow Tigers side. They've been trailing for the entirety of this contest. They were able to get the 1 run in the third, but that's as close as they've been.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line for these guys. They're playing for a national championship, and for most of these guys, this could be the highest level of a tournament they ever get to. And there's ups, there's downs. It's hard for 3 days to keep it going at that high level, and I think the Carletons look pretty dang good today. George Ragakis, he might have a different opinion, but he's around this ball club a lot, and but to me it looks like they're headed to the gold medal game versus their arch rival.
McGill and Carleton. If you're around the parts of Montreal, a lot of people like to hype up the McGill-Concordia rivalry, but in the last few weeks I've been around this McGill baseball club and gotten the opportunity to see a couple Carleton games myself. I get the sense that there's more of a rivalry between these two teams. These two teams are clearly the class of their Northern Conference. The top two offenses, barring a comeback here of epic proportions from the Dow Tigers, looks like we'll get the two best offenses coming into this tournament in the championship final.
Yeah, the world shrunk and regional rivalries are being replaced with performance rivalries, and when you've got two top teams like McGill and Carleton, they're going to naturally have look, everybody here, McGill had a bullseye the whole week. Nobody likes the team that's on top, and they've got a swagger, but they deserve to have it because they're one heck of a ball team.
Carleton has shown their mettle as well, as despite the strikeout being thrown there by Colby Lyle, coming on in relief, getting his first K of the day. They've shown some mettle as well, and they've shown they're able to hit with the best of them. And if all goes well there, we could be in for a shootout.
Well, absolutely. If this holds up, I anticipate a really good ball game. I'm not up to speed on the history of the two teams. I can only go by what I've seen this weekend, and for me, these two teams seem pretty evenly matched. But the difference being McGill hasn't lost a game in 2 years, so I think they're going to be ready to go at 6 o'clock this afternoon. They're not going to want today to be their first loss.
For what it's worth, for the majority of McGill's games, they've had a couple great games where they led for most of them, but they found themselves just before the end of the season in a late September weekend matchup against the Ravens in a doubleheader. Both of those games, while they did win, they found themselves in positions where they had to come from behind against the Ravens.
Oh, I can see it. I've never seen the two teams play, but like I said, watching every game this weekend, they've been the class of the tournament thus far.
That ball gets away from Fulton. A sixth run is in for Carleton. And just like that, the Ravens.
That's a pass ball.
It's a pass ball there. They are firmly in the driver's seat for this championship game.
And pass ball, you can't fault Fulton on that. He's their shortstop. He may have, who knows if he's even ever caught Colby Lyle. So, they're gutting it out. They were in the game most of the day. They've had a little hiccup here, but regardless of the result, Dal should be proud of their performance this weekend.
The pitch. Another foul ball, this time from Joel Zoda.
Interesting fact, Colby Lyle was with the Holland College in 2015, the last time the tournament was in Fredericton, and he actually pitched the semifinal and defeated the Carleton Ravens.
Interesting you bring up that point, as a strikeout thrown by Colby Lyle. Colby Lyle, fine, he has history against the Carleton Ravens. if you want to look back at the history between the Dalhousie team and Carleton,
Shortstop number 17.
I believe that this is the first time, at least at Nationals, and maybe even overall, they've even played against each other. They don't really have much of a history against each other.
There's no history. Dalhousie's they've had some struggles in the past, and they've turned their baseball program around, and they've kind of turned themselves into the beast in the East, so to say. But it's good to see. And another great story was the Acadia Axemen, a fairly new program, made it to a semifinal this weekend. It's good to see these teams that are all kind of equaling out, and I know George is trying to do some work to get some more conferences and make this a bigger and better championship, and it's good to see these teams are starting to put their foot forward and having success at the national level.
2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Kobe Lyle pitching a 2-0 count to Manny Restrepo. Runners at second and third. 3-0 count, a hitter-friendly count for Restrepo.
I'm going to be a soothsayer here and say he's going to take this pitch.
Strike one.
Am I as good as Augie yet?
I think you guys are a lot closer to each other than you think. I think you've been doing a really great job on this broadcast, Sibs.
Thanks very much, Julian.
The 3-1. 3-2 now. As Lyle was behind on the count. 3-0, and he's thrown back-to-back strikes to get back in it.
He's a bulldog. He's a bulldog. He's going to give everything he's got. I know Colby well, and he's leaving her all out here.
The 3-2. Restrepo gets a piece of it, lands foul.
It's a good battle. You've got Lyle, who's been arguably one of the top pitchers in the tournament, against Restrepo, who has been a real spark plug for this Carleton team. Let's see who wins this battle.
3-2 count. 2 outs. Colby Lyle's already got a strikeout in this inning. That ball goes up the middle, off the second base bag. A run scores. Ty Greshchuk comes in, and a second run will as well. It's 8-1 for Carleton after that dribbler up the middle bounds off the second base bag. 2 runs come in for Carleton.
It's a tough break.
Now batting for the Ravens, third baseman.
Colby's not going to come out here, but I think the coach is making the right move here. Colby's given a lot this weekend, as Cunningham has, and they may lift him for a reliever just to say thanks. And
look at that. He's getting love from the coaches and his teammates on the mound. It doesn't look like he'll come out. Still has 2 outs.
No, he talked his way out of that. I think he was, sometimes I've heard the comment made, you think with your heart before your head, and Colby's saying, give me the ball, I want to get us back in there. That was an Augie pitching change. I'm not quite sure. So that was an Augie pitching change.
2 outs. 8-1 is the score. Carleton 1 foot in this evening's championship game as Mike Heffer hits this one foul.
She's station to station right now for Carleton. I think 7 will be enough for them. A 7-run cushion, but hey, like we said, you never know. But Derek Harkin's been awful tough today, and for him to give up 7 runs would be a big surprise.
No one warming up in the Carleton bullpen, so it looks like the Ravens will let him close out the game in 7.
If there was somebody warming up in the Carleton bullpen right now, I think George would be down in the dugout yelling and screaming at his coaches.
If he's not pacing around already.
I'd like to give a big shout out to the Carleton Raven players. I had to attend my summer team's final banquet last night, the Fredericton Royals, and 3 of the players stepped in and took my task. So, you know what? Class group in Carleton for coming up and helping us out when we were short-handed last night. I heard they did a fantastic job.
Salute to them, and salute to Kobe Lyle, who strikes out the final batter of the inning, and a 5-run bottom of the 6th. Maybe all the Carleton Ravens need to put themselves in the championship game. 8-1 the score as we head to the top of the 7th. Top of the 7th here, the Carleton Ravens have an 8-1 lead against the Dow Tigers in the semifinal contest. The winner of this game will take on the McGill Redmen, who are back at their hotel watching this contest here on the Bell TV1 webcast. My name is Julian McKenzie. Mark Sibley, who has come into the broadcast booth in a great relief appearance for Mike Augustine. It looks as if he may stay on to close out the tournament in the championship game. Am I correct?
That is the. I've decided that I'm going to do that. Yeah, we're gonna keep this thing rolling, Julian.
Kobe Lyle hits one deep into center, but Kevin Park, who's come in for Ty Greschuk, makes the catch in center.
That's a usual occurrence. You come in as a defensive replacement. First pitch, first ball, ripped at you in a line drive. Park stepped in, made a great play. He's definitely in there for his defense today to secure this victory.
Park, known as one of the calmest kids on this team, he doesn't really say much, and probably one of those guys who tries to let his play do the talking. As Derek Harkin has pitched himself a gem today. Throws a strike to Cam McPherson.
Well, that's for sure. That's, I've been raving about it for 7 innings. Harkin gets the ball. He's ready to throw. That keeps his defense in the game. That keeps his coaches off his back. He is what we call, what they say in the game, dealing right now.
Absolutely. 2-1 count on McPherson. But otherwise, Harkin has been more or less lights out, allowing just the 1 run. Restrepo the throw to first in time. The Dow Tigers are down to their final out here at this year's tournament. And it comes down to one of their players they've just brought in. Pinch hitter in Alex Mumborket.
Alex Mumborket.
Probably giving Alex a swing here. They've pretty sure that with 2 out, down 7, their tournament is finished, possibly, but they have nothing to hang their heads at. They have played some great baseball this weekend and represented their school with a lot of class, and they should be proud of themselves.
Ball popped up in the air. Diamandis catches it, and that's going to do it for this one as the Carleton Ravens defeat the Dalhousie Tigers 8-1. And at 6 p.m. this evening, they will face off against the McGill Redmen in a Northern Conference showdown in the national championship game.
Well, I think most of the people that follow this, the CCBA, yourself included, and Mike Augustine might have predicted the Carleton-McGill final at the beginning of the tournament, and both teams have, other than a small hiccup for the Ravens on Friday night, both teams have played, been the class of the tournament, and we're going to see a pretty good matchup.
If you can, from this game, which players have stood out to you as a potential game MVP?
Well, I think you got to look at the pitcher, Derek Harkin. He kept Dow off balance the entire game. Dow came into this game as the offense is their strength, and he completely shut down their defense, or their offense. Other than a little blip in the 3rd inning where he may have become unraveled. I think Harkin is your player of the game in my books.
Derek Harkin and the Ravens have clinched a spot in the national championship game. The Dow Tigers, they find their run to the championship come to an end.
All right. The E45 replica bat MVP for this game, number 6, Derek Harkin.
Harkins wins it.
Presented by CCBA President George Regakos.
Takes it from the league president, George Regakos, and that's going to do it for this game today on behalf of our broadcast crew and for Mike Augustine working the PA system and Mark Sibley coming in a stellar relief performance as color commentator on our webcast. My name is Julian McKenzie saying so long. Stay tuned for the championship game between the McGill Redmen and the Carleton Ravens. That game will go down at 6 o'clock, and that game will be shown on TV1 on demand for Bell 5 customers. We'll be right back.